Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Give him to me, sweetheart. I don't know if you can hear me and you can see me. Okay. If you can hear me and you can see me, please write a comment because I'm not sure if I'm online right now. And I'll be more than happy uh, to hear something from you. Please let me know. Okay. I'm not sure what I'm doing. It's my first time, so it might be tough when it comes to the technology. Hello? Hello, hello. Okay, I hope you can see me. Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. I'm not sure if I'm online right now, so please let me know in the comments you can see me and you can hear me. It's very important to me because it's my first time. I don't know what I'm doing exactly. So sorry if. Hello, hello. I hope I'm online right now. Hello, can you see me? Can you hear me? Please write in the comments, okay, if you can hear me and you can see me. I'll give you some time because I want to make sure that everything is working properly. I'm not sure. So it's my first time, my first webinar, so I hope you understand. So I'm waiting for some info from you, okay? I hope someone is watching. Hello, hello. I can't see any comments, so I'm not sure. Can you see me now? I'm looking at my mobile phone right now because I want to make sure that someone can see me. So I'm giving you some time to let me know. It's really a strange feeling, you know? It's like looking at the screen, no one is there, and I'm not sure if I'm talking to someone or to my own. So if no one appears, which might happen also, I think I'll just continue my webinar and everyone else um, will watch it later on when I send it to you because I'm also recording this webinar right now. So I hope so. Yes, I hope you can watch it. All right, so maybe you'll join me later on because I'm still not sure if I'm talking to myself or you're with me. I'll start what I've prepared for you today. And yes, like I said, if you can see me, I'll just. Um, okay. So, all right, I'm checking, and I think I'll start. First of all, I would like to say that I've decided to do this webinar to make it, sorry, in English. There are two reasons for that. First of all, I'd like to get to all of you, to all the beginners who just think about starting learning Polish, to also those of you who haven't started yet. That's why I thought if I spoke Polish, it would be too difficult for some of you. So that's why I decided to make it in English. The second reason is that when I speak English, you can hear that I'm not a native speaker. And I just want to tell you that I have very similar experience like you, like all of you who learn languages, okay? Because I also have been there. I mean, I know how it is to learn a language and what adventure it is. Sometimes how you struggle with it. So you can hear um, that I'm also learning. I'm learning all the time, and I make mistakes like all of us who learn languages. So I hope you can um, forgive me sometimes if I make a mistake, and see that I'm also a learner and I'm exactly like you. Okay, so that's why I'm speaking English. Okay, I should introduce myself because I haven't said anything about me yet. So my name is Magda. Maybe some of you know me. Maybe some of you had lessons with me already. So I'm inviting, of course, everyone to take classes with me, and I'll tell you later on um, where you can find some contact details and you can write to me. So, my name is Magda, like I said, and I'm a private Polish tutor with over 4 year experience of teaching Polish as a foreign language. My classes are mostly online, um, on Skype exactly. So, and this is also, I think, a very enjoyable way of learning Polish. Um, I'm inviting all of you to to take some classes of Polish online. If you want to know, to read something more about me, please go to my website, which I'm giving to you right now. You can see, I hope, in a minute on the screen, you can see my website www.mypolishcourse.com. You can go there and find some more info about me there. Okay, this is the webinar about how to learn Polish, and this is part one. You might wonder, why is it part one? I decided to divide it into two parts because there are so many techniques you can use that I just thought it would be too long if I wanted to put all of them in one webinar. So this webinar, I think it's going to take around 1 hour, taking into account that I was a little bit late because of my technology problems. Sorry for that once again. And yes, I would like to tell you about 8 techniques today. And if you are interested, we can make another webinar in which I'm going to tell you about more techniques. Okay? Of course, if you are interested, so you will give me, I hope, some feedback at the end of the webinar if you are still interested in something like that. Okay, so let's start. I think there's nothing else I would like to start with. So I've prepared a presentation for you, like you can see on the screen right now, and I'm going to talk exactly about the techniques how to learn Polish. One more important information. I don't want you to use all of these techniques. Okay, everyone should choose the best technique for himself, herself. So I want you to listen carefully. Think what is interesting for you, what sounds really cool for you, what sounds um, enjoyable and something right for you. Take down the notes and use the techniques you need. Okay, so let me start with the techniques I prepared for you today. The first one is be like a child. Okay, be like a child. It means, what does it mean? It means I want you to be curious all the time. To be curious, ask yourself many, many questions. Okay, always think, why is it so? Okay, because by doing that, you can discover more things. I'll give you some examples in a minute. Okay, So the most important part about learning a language is to be always interested, always curious, always try to find new solutions, new things that are interesting for you. Okay? And always try to refer to the things you already know. This is something obvious because when you know something, you can easily remember the new material, the new things. Let me give you some examples. For example, an example. Have you heard about the word Niemcy in Polish? Okay, Niemcy, Germany. Hmm? Have you ever asked yourself a question? Why Niemcy? Dlaczego Niemcy? Why do we say so in Polish? Okay, it sounds really strange, really weird. It's not German, Alemania, or even Deutsch, like in other languages. It's completely different. Niemcy. It doesn't sound like German. The answer is here, exactly, you can see it, because we have an adjective niemy in Polish, which means mute or dumb. The story behind it is that during the medieval ages, or maybe even earlier, when two nations, two tribes met, I mean German tribes and Polish tribes, Polish people met for the first time. And they didn't understand each other, of course, because there are two completely different languages, German and Polish. So Polish people said something like, "Oh, they're dumb. Like they don't understand us. They don't hear what we're saying." So probably the story is like this. It might be a legend, but still, by knowing the word Niemcy, the country, you know one more adjective, which is Nieme, mute, okay? They can't speak or they speak a different language. So, oh, as you can see, if you ask yourself a question, why Niemcy, dlaczego Niemcy, you can discover more things. Okay, can you see it? Let me give you another example, which is where, which are similar words between English and Polish. You can discover how many words you already know, of course, without learning them. Let me read them for you. Kolega, which is a colleague. Not only it's a little bit broader word in Polish, but still it might mean a colleague. Motywacja, motivation. Stacja, station. Recepcja, reception. Informacja, information. Sytuacja, situation. Hmm? Did you know about it? Let me know in the comments if you have ever heard that there are so many similar words between English and Polish. Maybe you've just discovered that. I want you to I want to tell you one more interesting thing. I think, which is that when we have cia ending in Polish, like in motywacja, you can hear. In English, the ending is very often Asian or shin, like motivation. Cia, stacja, station. Recepcja, reception. Can you see it? It's not the rule which works in 100%, but it works, I would say, in 90, maybe even 95%, which means that you can really find a lot of words which are similar in English, both in English and in Polish. Try to find more words like these and see if it works, okay? So it's like your a short exercise to do after the webinar or maybe tomorrow. Just write down this rule if you didn't know about it and try to find as many words as you can see. You will see that you can find many, really. Okay, more examples of the words which you already know and we use them in Polish. Let me read. For example, bank, park, hotel, supermarket, transport, test, film. It's a a good idea right now to close your eyes, even not to look at the words when I'm reading them, and you will see that you can guess what they mean, okay? Let me continue. Then we have limit, show, notebook, it's like in English, super, email, metal, ranking, plan, t-shirt, weekend. Can you see how many words? So there are almost the same. We took them from English. Of course, English is everywhere. So we can say that we also took some of the words into our language. For example, we never say, we don't have any word for weekend. I mean, we always say, co robisz w weekend? What are you doing at the weekend? Okay, we use this word, exactly this word from English. So I'm probably to some of you this information is quite obvious. If you if you've been learning Polish for a while, if you are a just beginner, it might be something completely new for you. Okay, let me continue. So this is the first rule. The first rule: be like a child. Always ask yourself extra questions. Okay, always ask yourself extra questions. This is very important. Okay, the second rule, I can see, I'm so happy because I can see that two people are watching now, which is a success for me because I thought no one would be here. So I'm so happy that you're watching. I'm so happy that you're watching. You can write me in the comments if you can write something, okay? Who is watching? Who are you? And what's your name? Like, okay? Would be really great to hear something from you. Um, good, good. So I can see someone is uh, watching. Okay, great. And now let me move to the second rule, okay, which you can use while learning a language, any language, but of course I'm talking about Polish in specific, like in particular this time. This is put what you learn into practice. Again, it might sound quite obvious to you, but sometimes we forget about such easy solutions, okay? That's why I want to remind you about it. So I want you to learn and put it into practice as soon as possible. This is also important. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. I've probably made right so far a lot of English mistakes in English, I mean, while you're watching, and I'm sure that you didn't pay so much attention to that. I hope so. So I mean, Polish people, we do the same. We are so happy that someone speaks our language that we really don't care about the mistakes. Of course, if we can understand, communication is important, but some grammar mistakes are not so important. Hi Pat, I can see that you're watching. Hi, I'm Pat. Jestem Pat, super, dziękuję. Dziękuję Pat, że oglądasz. Dobrze. So, like I said, put it into practice and repeat until you remember. But of course, you have to give yourself time. You have to be lenient with yourself. You have to be patient also. Let me give you some examples. How can you put something into practice when you learn Polish? Okay, so be like a child. No, this is not what I want to say. I wanted to say this is our second point. Put yourself, put what you learn into practice, okay? Into practice. Okay, was supposed to be here. Now, for example, what can you do if you want to put what you learn into practice? You cook. I assume some of you cook, and you've probably made a hamburger at least once in your lifetime. So, you prepare a hamburger for yourself and you learn Polish at the same time. Easy peasy, right? You take the ingredients and you name them out loud. Okay, you name them out loud. Um, what you're keeping in your hands. So, for example, the layers of the hamburger in Polish. Let me make a hamburger, virtual hamburger right now with you. We take, bierzemy bułkę, bułka, bułka. Potem cebula, papryka, czerwona papryka. Mamy sos, mamy pieczarki, mięso, sałatę i bułka na końcu. Tak? To wszystko. So you make a hamburger and you name it. You say, oh, I'm putting bułka first, then I'm putting sałata, I'm putting mięso, pieczarki, sos, papryka, cebula, bułka, and so on. Always try to use every occasion to practice, okay? And try to make it a habit because sometimes we don't remember we can do it, right? We can practice Polish at the same time. What you can do, try to remind yourself um, as often as you can that you can do something like that because after statistics say that after 21 days of repeating the same thing, it will become a habit. So in this case, if you 21 days in a row, every day think about it, that you can practice Polish for at least 5 minutes a day, like you do something and you try to name the things you're doing, then you will see it will become a habit and you will do it even more often, and you will remember always that you should do that. What else? For example, when you go to a shop, if you live in Poland, it will be much easier, of course. But if you live abroad, you can do the same. You see the things you want to buy and you name them. Oh, I'm looking for a T-shirt, which sounds in Polish the same like in English. But for example, I'm looking for bluzka. If you know the cases, you can even try to put the word in the right case, which in this example would be szukam bluzki. Okay, I'm looking for a blouse. So szukam bluzki, and you try to say it this way. Szukam swetra, szukam spodni, szukam jeansów, szukam butów, szukam piżamy, na przykład. Okay, for example. If you live in Poland, it's even easier because you can see the name of the products on the labels, on the price tag. You can also see the advertisement everywhere, which names the product, which name the product. So it's even easier. So try to pay attention as many details as you can. All right. I hope you're still watching. Let me know if you're still watching because I don't know. It's really, really great feeling when I know that someone is here. So I hope you're still watching. Good. Now, the third rule, which I'm going to tell you about, is don't hesitate to test yourself. Test, test, test. A keyword, test. So we often think about tests as something, oh, um, so maybe not boring, but something stressful. We think about school. Um, okay, sorry, I interrupted because Tracy is writing, your picture is covering the last few words you have listed. Can you move your video picture to the opposite side? Oh, that's a good hint. Thank you, Tracy, for that. Of course, I'll try. I'll try to do that. I hope I can do it. Uh, how about how about now? Let me know if it's better. I hope it's better. Good. All right. So I'll continue. I hope now you can see it. So don't think about tasks like a task at school. Try to make it fun, make it enjoyable. Tracy, great, thank you. Thank you for your comment. Good, because we remember what we learn better if we have to recall it. Because if you have, for example, let's imagine that you want to learn something from Polish grammar, which you probably love because everyone loves Polish grammar. So you take a chart with one of the cases, huh? You take the chart with one of the cases, and if you have everything written down, you have all the endings, it might be boring. If you are not a very analytical mind, you might think, oh, it's so boring. But if you have to discover the rules yourself, it's so much more enjoyable. Hmm? If you take some examples, some sentences, and you have to discover why is it so, and you have to put in the chart in the right columns the right endings, it will be more challenging, but at the same time more enjoyable. So this is one of the very good exercises. So I recommend doing that. Okay. So you take some sentences which you know that are, for example, in accusative biernik, and you try to discover what is the rule behind it. When do we have masculine, feminine, and neuter gender? If you don't know what it is, you will find out soon if you start learning Polish. And then try to put the right endings, okay, into the right columns. This is a very good exercise, believe me. Do simple tests often and repeat them. So when you, for example, stop completing the chart, go back to it 1 week, for example, later, and try to test yourself once again. Cover the part of it and try to give some examples of the words which end with a particular letter, and then check if you're right. Okay, this is a simple test, but you can do it, and you try to repeat by doing that. Like I said, you can use this method before you learn, like in this example, to complete the chart. So before learning the rules, you can also discover them, but you can also use it after you learn. So like I said, when you repeat things. Okay. What other examples can I give to you? You can use the tests from the books, of course, but maybe they are more boring, let's say. You can use the applications, like when you have to complete the blank spaces. This is also good. For example, do you know Duolingo? Let me know if you use it. Duolingo is one of the best applications, I think, to learn any language. Sometimes you have to put the right words or put the words in all the. This is a kind of a test, yes, the one of these exercises I'm talking about. Um, yeah, and this is also very enjoyable. I like it when now I'm trying to learn Russian, and I use Duolingo and I do these things. Sometimes you can also create the test yourself, and this is also fun for some of you. Of course, it takes time, so it's not for everyone, but you can do it, I think, and it's also enjoyable. Uh, so, and the last point I put here is when you learn grammar, try to decode the rules before you read them. That's exactly what I've said. There is also one more very good website. I don't know if you know it. It's called lyricstraining.com. And there are video clips of many artists all from all over the world, and there are some Polish songs as well there. And you can choose three levels of difficulty: the beginner, the basic, more advanced, and like super advanced, let's say. And there is a video clip you can watch, and you can listen to the song, and there are lyrics of the songs with blank spaces. So you can listen to the song and write the words you hear. And this is a perfect listening exercise, I believe. And because you have to listen carefully, and it is even more difficult because you have to listen to a song. And as we all know, probably it's always more difficult in this to understand the song than a song than a normal text. Uh, but the basic level, believe me, is it's quite easy. I think there are only one word in every two sentences, for example. And by the way, you can also discover some nice Polish songs. Sometimes the newest ones, really, like they are on the top charts on the radio, and they're very nice very often, and it's fun. I think you can listen to some music and at the same time you can learn Polish. If you like these kind of exercises, it's something great. Okay, and like I said before, the most important, make it fun, make it a challenge, count the points maybe sometimes, if and even give yourself the rewards. Like think about it. Oh, one day you sit down and you think to you talk to yourself, I'll learn Polish for 10, 15 minutes. I'll count the points, how many sentences I will write well, and for each point, it will be like $1 I can spend, or £1, or one zloty I can spend. I'll buy something for myself for that, just for myself, really for myself. Let me know if you like such an idea, because this is what I do sometimes, not very often, but just to make fun. I sit down, I write some examples of the sentences, and I count the points. Sometimes it's 5 zloty, sometimes it's 10 zloty if I have more time and I can write more sentences. And then I go to a shop next day, and I'm so happy and so excited when I can buy something, which is really great. Okay, let's move to the next rule. So already I told you about being a child. Ask many questions. Put what you learn into practice. Always practice, practice. Name the things you can see and you do around yourself, and test yourself. Discover the rules which are behind. I'm not sure if you are still with me. I hope you are. I'll give you a happy face. Oh no, a waving hand so you can see me. Okay, then I'm there. Okay, so flashcards. This is something probably everyone who learns a language heard of. Fiszki, po polsku fiszki. Some golden rules how to create them, because many people use them but don't know how to use them right. I'm not saying you're doing everything wrong. No, I'm just saying it's good to know and pay attention how to do that. Okay, so write sentences, not words. Okay. This is very important because our brain remember words better in the context, not just words translating one to one, but sentences. Because sentences, by writing sentences, you also learn the structure of the sentences, which is completely different in English and in Polish. Maybe you've already discovered that. So repeat each flashcard at least 5 times. This is rule number 2 when it comes to flashcards. But do it at intervals. What I mean, for example, you have a sentence, mieszkam w Ameryce. Hmm? A basic sentence. Mieszkam w Ameryce, okay. You want to remember that. You write it down with the English translation. You try to remember. Then you repeat the same sentence the next day. Then make the next interval make twice as long as the first one. So repeat the flashcard for the third time after another 2 days. Then make the interval even longer. Repeat it after 4 days. Okay, or even 6 days. It depends on your preferences. And then the next time, the fifth time, I hope it's fifth. I'm not counting. uh, repeat after 1 week. And then when you make sure that you remember it, just go back to it after 1 month, just not to forget it. But make the breaks between each between learning each sentence longer and longer, but repeat it at least 5 times, and you will see the best effects. I can guarantee. Okay, and the rule number three, don't try to learn all the new vocabulary. For example, if you read a text, don't take everything from from the text. Like you said, oh my God, I don't know this or that. Just choose maximum 10 words or 10 phrases you want to remember and put them into flashcards. Okay? Because if you take too many, it will be like too overwhelming, I think, for you. So remember about that. And what applications can you use to prepare your flashcards? I don't know if you've heard about Quizlet, Memrise, or Anki. These three you can see on the screen, I think, are the best. Are the best because yeah, I use all of them. I think the most often a Quizlet. Sometimes I prepare some flashcard sets for my students as well, if they want to, and they can also download the application to their mobile phone, so they have them all the time with them when they travel, when they work, when they are at work, and so on. When they take care of their children, for example. Yes. Okay, and prepare the cards yourself and the box if you prefer it in on the paper. Then you don't have it in the applications, but you just take a piece of paper, like a small uh, piece of paper, like I said, this one, and you just write the phrase here, and on the other side you write the English translation, of course. And put it into a box with divided into parts, and then you can move the paper from like the first day, the second day, 1 week after, and 1 month after. Okay, so you can move the flashcard if you know it. If you repeat the if you repeat it at least once, you put it into the second like department. I don't know how to call it in English even. Several second part of the box. Hmm? So these are the golden rules when it comes to the flashcards. And rule number five, when we talk about learning Polish in general, is repeat, repeat, and repeat again. I know it's obvious, but we often think that we should learn new things. We want to change the material, and we forget about the old one. I think the key to success about learning languages is to revise, not to learn the new stuff. Okay, so you can do it in many different ways, which stimulates your brain, and this is great. But try to refer always to the things you already know and repeat the things you already know, not to forget them. Okay. I've heard recently a phrase which I liked so much, and I'm going to repeat that. It was in Polish, but I tried to translate it right now into English. The phrase was like that, like this. It's not a success to be multilingual. Okay, the success is to remain being multilingual, which means, in other words, because I'm not sure if I'm translating it right, it means you can learn a lot of languages, but the key to success, the real success, is not to forget them. Okay, and I think this is it. Because I remember I made this mistake. That's why I'm telling you about it. I made this mistake a few years ago when I learned German. I don't want to boast myself right now, but I was quite good at German at school. Of course, I wasn't fluent, but I understood quite a lot, and I even could say quite a lot thing or quite a lot of things. But after 15 years, or almost 15 years of not using it anymore, I just forgot it. I still remember some phrases, I still remember some words, some vocabulary, but it's not that. It's not it. I mean, I could I could speak much better if I hadn't forgotten to repeat the phrases I had learned before. Yes, so this is what I want to encourage. I want to encourage you to really repeat, repeat, and repeat again. Use this method with your flashcards, like I said before. What you can do, but not only. You can, for example, write down a few grammar topics you want to learn, not too many. For example, five, and make yourself a goal. Like I want to learn, or maybe three cases in 3 months. Okay, I think it's quite a reasonable goal you can do. Of course, I'm not saying about being fluent and knowing how to use them all the time, but to know the rules more or less, and to know how to apply them, to be able to construct the sentences with these cases, for example. So you write down these topics you want to learn, and you plan how to do it. A plan is also very important. You revise by mixing them up, but only focusing on these three. Okay, you don't add anything else. Of course, if you're a more advanced student, you can add more information because it might be, I don't know, maybe boring for you just to focus on the things you already know. But if you're just a beginner, I think it's a good idea just to focus on the part of grammar and not to move forward until you really feel that you know and you understand the rules. Okay, so I have a present for you. I've prepared a free PDF revision planner, which I'm going to send to you if you subscribe to my newsletter. If you have already subscribed, thank you for that. Dziękuję bardzo. So I'll send you by to till the end of this week, I promise, because it's already done, but I have to write the whole email, I have to plan the whole email. So I will send it tomorrow, maybe on Friday. If you haven't subscribed to my newsletter yet, I'm inviting you to do so right now or after the webinar. You can go to my website, and I'll write for you here the address once again. I hope you can see it. It's www.mypolishcourse.com slash newsletter. Hmm? If you go to this website, I hope you can see it. If you go to this website, okay, you can see a box. Let's say where you write your email, you write your name, and you will be added to my list. So it is an automate. Automate? I'm not sure about this word, which sends all the emails are prepared. So if you are on the list, you can be sure that you will find the email with this planner I'm talking about right now. It will be like the whole calendar for the next month, where you can plan all the revision. So you choose some topics and you put them into the right columns, and then you have a ready plan how to revise. And the only thing you have to do is to stick to the plan. So you have to motivate yourself and like do it. Like I have a plan right now, someone helped me to prepare it, and now I can just start doing it. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for you. Like in Polish we say trzymam kciuki for you, and I hope you can use this planner. So go to this website please and sign up for my newsletter. Okay, let me move to the sixth point of my presentation for today is surprise yourself while revising. What does it mean? When you revise, always do it differently. Maybe not always, but often or usually try to surprise yourself. I know it takes another amount of time you have to devote to surprise yourself, but after some time, I think you will discover the best surprises for you, and you can repeat them from time to time. It doesn't have to be something new all the time, but like to make it in intervals once again. So one week I'll do this, next week I'll do something else. So when you surprise your brain, you learn quicker and easier because our brain likes surprises. Think about the new material which is interesting for you. If it's a surprise, and information that it's surprising for you, a piece of information which is surprising for you, I'm sure you will remember it better. Hmm? So never learn the same over and over again. The same way, like reading, for example, a text so many times and you think you'll remember it. It's too boring for your brain. Read it once, then do something else. Okay. Then, for example, write down, prepare the flashcards with the phrases like I said. This is exercise number one. Then what can you do? You can, for example, let me think, because I haven't prepared it before. You can, for example, do it like a drawing. You can put all the flashcards into a box and draw it. Yeah, it's like a drawing. It's also a part of fun, I think. Then, for example, say to yourself, I'll write an email to someone in Polish with one of the phrases I've learned today, I've learned this week, for example. Yes, and you have to use this phrase. Or you record a short video of yourself, like diary, and you will record exactly the phrase you've learned, and you put it into the story about your day. Hmm? So always make it fun. Be creative. Try to think about different ways of learning, and always surprise yourself because it's really worth it. Mm, yeah. So I'm heading to point number 7, which is quite surprising this time, but change the setting. Okay. I know it might be quite surprising, like I said, for you. Mm, but I believe the research, some research show, and I also have the name of the research. If you want me to tell you uh, who who made the research and what was the exact result, you can write to me. I'll send you that because I didn't want to put that on the presentation because I thought it might be there are too many details. So some research say that when we change the setting, when we change the places where we learn, it's also surprising for our brain, so it remembers better. So try to change the setting when you learn. The variety of places in which you learn stimulate your brain again and make your neural connections stronger. Yeah. So what you can do, some examples, but I think that you can think about even more yourself. So listen to the podcasts. Find yourself a good Polish podcast and listen to it on a tram or a bus when you commute to work. Okay, use the time that you have. Sometimes learn in a cafe. Take a laptop or a mobile. Don't learn at home if you can, of course. Read a book in Polish in the park. Learn when you go out with your friends. Of course, if you live in Poland, it's easier. So you can ask your Polish friends how something is called in Polish, like what is it, name the things you can see, and ask someone to correct you, or ask some questions about the things you see in Polish, of course. Read the advertisements by the side of the road when you travel, of course, if you are in Poland, because otherwise everything is in English or in other language. But try to think, oh, what does it mean? Try to translate yourself the things. And like I said, learn the lyrics of a song in Polish, and maybe you can even sing it in a karaoke bar, if you're not shy. And I think it's also like a very good example, a very good practice. And like I said, you can go to this website. Once again, I'll tell you www www.lyricstraining.com/pl, then you will move to this Polish songs part. Yes. Okay. So these are the most, maybe the most obvious examples, but I think it's very good to change the setting. Or maybe you can have a CD and listen to it on your way to work in a car, for example. Also a very good example, a good idea. Okay, and I'm going to the last part of my presentation today, the last point, I mean. Here is something, a job for you, let's say, because I'm not sure if I used the right English words. So if you are a native English speaker or if you are a very good English speaker, you can correct me. Learn by interlacing. What I mean is by mixing something up. Huh? It's changing the things you learn, but of course, you choose first the area. Like I said before, you choose 3 cases and you learn them interlacing them. I'm still not sure about the word. Can you correct me? I hope you can correct me. Okay. So learn one thing and move to the other one, but not too many, like I said before. Then go back to the previous one. So again, no, don't forget to repeat the things and learn something new again and go back to the previous one. And it's like mixing everything up. I think I'm moving my hands too too often. I'll try to control myself. Okay, intuitively we think it's not a good idea, but believe me, it is, and many research show it is. So again, if you want to know exactly which research say it, just write to me. I'll give you the. I can even give you the book from which I took some of the ideas for my presentation today, and the name of the research is in the book as well, so you can see it. So it stimulates your brain once again and forces your brain to often repeat information. So let me give you an example. Like I said before, you can choose 3 cases you want to learn. This is the one of the easiest examples to think of when we talk about Polish grammar, of course. And you do exercises in which you can mix them up. Okay, you can do this in this way, like you can see on the screen, I hope now, which is biernik. You learn biernik, which is accusative. You learn the first case. You do many exercises which automize the case. Yes. So after some time, after repeating so many times, you remember the endings. Then you move to dopełniacz. Okay. The other case you want to use, for example, biernik you use when you say, for example, lubię. Lubię kawę. Kawę. Dopełniacz you use when you say nie. Nie lubię kawy. Kawy. Nie lubię kawy. Lubię kawę. Nie lubię kawy. Okay? So, then you can mix. Po polsku mix. Biernik plus dopełniacz. So what you do so many exercises in which you mix both of them. When you feel quite comfortable, you can add another one, which is, for example, narzędnik, instrumental, which you say z. For example, piję kawę z moim kolegą. So then you automize it, narzędnik, and when you feel quite comfortable again, you can mix 3 of them. Biernik plus dopełniacz plus narzędnik. You can write short text, for example, you can say piję kawę z moją koleżanką. Jutro kupię kawę i pójdę na spotkanie z moją koleżanką. Okay? I drink coffee with my friend. Tomorrow I'll go on a meeting for a meeting for a meeting with my friend, and I will buy a cup of coffee again. This is what I've just said, more or less. Okay, so like I said, changing. Okay, stimulate your brain. Repeat, repeat. Go over. Try to change to change the setting, change the way you learn, and these are the best methods. Okay. All right. I think I'm heading to the end of this webinar. I'm planning, like I said, the next webinar, how to learn Polish part 2. And topics I would like to mention in the second part are more or less like these. Why the total immersion method is not a good idea, how to take notes to remember better, and what are the best materials to learn Polish. Today I've told you about some of them, some of the websites, applications, so on, so forth, but I would like to go into more details and give you the whole list of these applications and these materials you can use. I'm I'm I have an idea like this. I would like to do that probably next week, the same time. So I mean on Wednesday at 7 Polish time. And of course, only if you say, okay, do it. I can see that still two people are watching. Thank you for that, for being with me this 1 hour. So if these two viewers, I'm not sure who it is, can write me if something like this is interesting for you or not. I'm ready for some feedback from you. If you tell me yes, do that, and it will be motivating for me, and I can now um, I can now say that I will do that. If you can give me some feedback, if you're still with me, of course, I will be more than happy if you can write to me. So yes, this is the plan for the next week. I hope the time is right for you. And yeah, I think I just want to say at the end, po polsku, dziękuję za uwagę. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for being with me all the time. I think I hope I recorded this webinar so I can send it to the rest of you who didn't have a chance today to see this. And I'll be waiting for your feedback. So I'll send it to your email, like I said, to my subscribers list. So I think you can watch it once again, or you can watch it when you have time. Okay, and I want to once again to tell you that if you like what I'm doing, please like my fan page. It's facebook.com slash mypolish. You can find it there. If you haven't done it yet, you can always write to me on Facebook or to my email, which is now magda at małpa in Polish, mypolishcourse.com. And I hope you can wait for the next webinar and you will learn something new. Yeah, so I'll be very happy to see you here once again. Um, okay, I'm looking if there are any questions from you still before I finish. I can only find Tracy's writing. I can only find one good Polish podcast. Do you have any suggestions? I'm not sure if I can get the same podcast as you can in Poland, for as America. Tracy, yes, I know some podcasts because there are not so many, but there are some, and I think I try to find it even now, but I'm not sure if I'm giving you the right address. So if I'm not, I will. Um, okay, I'm writing. This is, for example, sorry, my Polish. No, I think it's polskidaily.eu. Okay, Polski Daily EU, but I'm not sure about it. So let me check it before I write it here. I'll also send it to in the email with this recording. Okay, the podcast which I'm recommending to you, and you can find it there. Okay, is it okay for you, Tracy? I hope it is. Um, Tracy is also writing, I was able to listen the whole time and I definitely learned a few things. I can try to see another one next week. It just depends on the kids. Okay, Tracy, I understand your problem. Okay, so like I said, Tracy, I'll send it to you in the email, okay? The exact podcast. So to all my subscribers, so every one of you can see it. Okay, the podcast I'm recommending. Okay, so if there are no other questions, I would like to say once again, dziękuję. Dziękuję za uwagę. And yeah, that's it. I hope to see you here next week. I hope it was something interesting for you. And I'll be finishing now. Dziękuję, dziękuję, dziękuję bardzo. I miłego wieczoru, miłego dnia. Have a nice day, have a nice evening. And pa pa, pa pa.